This movie is not something I was particularly interested in seeing for varying reasons. But the major reason I didn't want to see this movie is because I was convinced that it was going to be rubbish. Whether I was right or wrong. So, in case you haven't read it in the title, this is going to be a spoiler free review because I know that there are lots of people that have probably not seen this movie, so I am not the type of person to ruin it for you. So, yeah, this is a spoiler free review and it is going to be fairly quick, straight to the point, I hope. So, in this movie, Black Widow, there is a conspiracy afoot. And Natasha is having to find a way to figure out how to stop the threat before it destroys the world. And it is something to do with her past. So she has to delve back or dive back into her past and deal with her demons while trying to stop this threat that is going to destroy her and the world. And that's pretty much the synopsis of this movie. Black Widow is led by Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, and David Harbour. They are the four main leads in this movie. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this movie, as I mentioned at the beginning of this review, I was not expecting much from this movie. When I saw the trailers, for a lot of reasons, I thought that this movie was going to be a letdown. First of all, I am not very confident in Scarlett Johansson's ability to lead a movie. I feel that she does well as a supporting actor, but as a lead, I have never seen anything that has blown me away and led me to believe that she could carry a movie. Another reason that I didn't think that I was going to enjoy this movie was because, for me, I didn't feel like I wanted to see Natasha's story after we had seen her, what happened to her in the final Avenger movies. I mean, she dies, and for me, it is just, at this point, I'm like, well, you could have done this movie prior to showing us that she died, because I felt like watching a movie after she's died gives you less of a reason to care. There are no stakes. There's nothing for you to care about because you already know what's going to happen to her. So watching these things after is kind of like anticlimactic. So that was part of the reason why I thought, yeah, it's not going to work. And I don't know, I just never found her character to be very interesting. I mean, in the comics, I think Natasha is a very interesting character, and there's so much that you can do with a character like that. But in the movies, I just felt like they didn't do much with her. And so there was no interest for me in learning about her story because she wasn't interesting enough in the Avengers movies for me to care, to want to see her story. So these are the reasons why I was dubious about this movie, and I went into watching it very cautious and very like, yeah, I don't know. And yeah. So did I think this movie was terrible? Absolutely not. I actually was enjoying the first half of this movie. I thought it was great. I thought the action scenes were really well done. It was well directed. Well, the actors were doing a great job. I feel like there are a lot of people talking about how Florence Pugh was the main focus of this movie, and I don't necessarily get that vibe from watching it. I felt more like she had more of a personality. So in every scene she was in, she stole the show, where Scarlett Johansson's character is very kind of dull. She doesn't do much or say much. She's very reserved, kind of. So it made her less interesting in any scene she was in with her co-star. And yeah, I don't know if that was a bad thing. It didn't bother me. But then again, it probably didn't bother me because I know that Natasha is not going to be in any further movies as far as I know, because with superhero movies, you can bring people back, right? But yeah, it didn't really bother me because, like I said, I already know that she's been killed in the Avengers movies, in the Endgame movie. So for me, it was interesting to see someone new on screen as opposed to her. And like I said, I've always found her to be quite bland and not boring, but not very interesting. She doesn't have much of a personality. So again, having her in a scene with another actor that has this big personality and these lines that just kind of drive home the jokes, it just kind of made her pale and fade into the background. But I don't feel like this movie was focused more on Florence's character. I don't agree with those views, but I can understand why people would think that. As far as the second half of this movie, it's almost a case of it was going this way and then it started to go that way. And it just didn't work for me. I feel like there was a lot of action and really great choreography at the beginning in terms of the action scenes. There was a lot of humor. It was fun. And then it got to a certain point and then it was just like, what's happening? Why is it getting boring? And for me, the final battle wasn't really a battle. It was very boring, very uninteresting, very just kind of blah. It didn't do anything, and for me, it let down the movie. I didn't think that the story for this movie was particularly intriguing. There was nothing new or different about it, and I understand that there is only so much new you can do when so many movies have been made. But I feel like when it comes to certain ideas, even though you're recycling a similar idea, you have to bring something new and interesting in it to make it interesting for the viewer. Or it just feels like, okay, well, why are we watching this when we've seen it done better? Like, what is the point of the story? It's not entertaining. It's not interesting or intriguing. It's just like we kind of can predict what's going to happen. So I didn't particularly enjoy the story. It was very bland for me. And that just did not work for me. So the villain in this movie is played by Ray Winstone, and for the life of me, I can't understand why they cast him. Don't get me wrong, he is a good actor, but it just didn't work for varying reasons. First of all, Ray Winstone cannot change his accent. He tried, but you could still hear his English accent coming through, and it was just kind of very distracting. It threw you off the character that he was trying to play. He wasn't very, there was nothing intimidating about him. There was nothing threatening about him. He was just this guy, looked like someone's daddy, just trying to do something and not quite getting there. It just, I don't get how he got cast as the villain. Very, 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 very boring villain, as far as I'm concerned. Didn't like him. Did nothing for the movie. Added nothing. I want to talk about a lot of the characters in this movie, but I don't want to spoil it, like I said. But I am going to say that there are some characters that I feel were wasted, especially in the final battle. You're expecting to see like these big, grand scenes with these incredible fights, and I did not get that. I don't know if anyone else felt that way about the end. At the beginning, I'm thinking, wow, these fight scenes are cool. This is very interesting. And at the end, it was just a letdown. And I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm not going to keep going over and over again. It was just, for me, it was, I don't know. This movie is not terrible. It's not a horrible movie. It just didn't quite do it. It's an okay movie. It is not anything spectacular. It is not like wow. It's not a wow movie. It is an okay movie. It's entertaining in part. For the first half of the movie, for me, it was very entertaining. So I'm not going to shit on it because I don't think it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It didn't quite blow me away, but I would say to you, just watch it because it's not a bad movie. It's not terrible. It's just okay. It's an okay movie. One thing I will say is that the soundtrack, the music, worked really well. The scenes played out very well with the music. It kind of synced. So that was really cool. There were a lot of really cool visual effects. There was nothing that blew me away. There's nothing that bothered me either, but then I don't feel like I was paying much attention to the visuals in this movie. I mean, as far as I was concerned, they looked good enough for what they were trying to do. So yeah, it's not much I can say about that. With these movies, you can always expect a lot of effects, visual effects, because they're doing a lot of crazy things that you just, I guess, regular people can't do. So they have to use CGI. So there probably was a lot of that in there. Like I said, I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah. So guys, let me know, have you seen Black Widow? What did you think? Please leave a comment below without spoiling it for the people that have not seen that. Without spoiling it for the people that have not seen the movie. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to my views on this movie and just movies and just everything in general. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyways, thank you guys. Please like, please share, please subscribe, but most importantly, please come back and watch more videos. I've got a lot more videos coming your way. See you soon. Bye.